Hi everyone, so the Season 27 patch 2.74 just went live a few hours ago and I went in to try it out. There were some surprising last minute updates that were not in the previous patch notes, and I think they're still not in the patch notes even. So we just saw this as the patch went live, and there is a buff to Tal Rasha Wizards. So previously on the 4-piece bonus we got 50% resistances for each stack, and this gave you a total of 200%, and now you get 100% per stack for a total of 400% extra resistances. So I did some little math, and it seems like this buffs the toughness of the set by roughly 60 or more percent. And it roughly gives you something like a close to 80% damage reduction. So it's like almost Firebird level toughness basically from the stat alone. So you're actually not really that like squishy anymore. Tal Rasha is in a pretty good spot toughness wise. It's not like super tanky, but it's definitely way more playable than before, and that was actually a pretty huge concern. I'm quite glad that they added some toughness. On top of this, we also get cooldown resets for teleport. Again, on the 4-piece, you can see that attacking with Meteor reduces the teleport cooldown by 1 second. So this makes it fairly smooth for farming, and I tried it out. It seems really good now. You're gonna see that in a second. And there's also another slight change in the 2-piece bonus, where it says you need to have Meteor on the action bar, but this didn't really matter for anything anymore because of the Member of Twilight change. That was kind of like a requirement anyway. So in case you're wondering how the build looks now, yeah, this is the Tal Rasha Wizard now. You can spam those meteors and they get the Meteor Shower rune for free from the Member of Twilight. It does a lot of damage. I tested a lot of mechanics. So this Meteor Shower rune only applies to your self-casts, but the damage applies to all meteors, including the Tal Rasha 2-piece bonus. We tested the Smoldering Core. The Smoldering Core is only 1 stack per cast, but it can stack from Tal Rasha 2-piece as well. So you can stack it really fast on Tal Rasha, but not really fast on LOD, which is actually a bit of a problem for the Bazooka Wizard. So this was a build that was previously quite hyped up, and we tried it out. It is very powerful if you get the whole combo to work, but you need to do a lot of Meteor casts to stack up the Smoldering Core for this plus 500% extra damage. Now there are ways around that. First of all, you kind of play not Archon and you play another variant where you just like throw more meteors regularly and you kind of keep it stacked, so not a big deal. For example, the Death Wish version. Or we found out that another wizard that also has Meteor and Smoldering Core can stack it for all wizards in the party. So you actually have a synergy there where, for example, you can run a Firebird RGK with Smoldering Core and Meteor Shower, and they just throw meteors in there for the Bazooka Wizard to stack up this effect, which will allow the Bazooka Wizard, on the other hand, to have a way easier rotation and not prematurely kill half of the pool and drop all the area damage and all that stuff. So this is something that we want to try tomorrow. We didn't have time now, but I think this is actually going to be a very interesting setup of double wizard in the team. And that could make the LOD Bazooka Wizard really powerful. But we're gonna see more next time. So I'll keep you guys updated about this. But I can tell you, with the build in action, it actually feels really amazing to play. I'm really happy with this rework now. I think that it's in a good spot and it's a very powerful build. So we previously already ranked it in S tier for solo push because of those last minute changes, especially to the Member of Twilight, which we expected to be very powerful. And yeah, it definitely has turned out to be exactly that. So you see it here, this is 120. I tried to imitate like around like a well-geared Paragon 1500 to Paragon 2K character here. But yeah, my items in-game were like really scuffed. So I have like a non-ancient weapon, a really terrible roll even, you know, stuff like this, no orcs really. And yes, I've had like the wrong element on my bracers at some points. So I added like some extra intelligence there from Paragons to kind of even it out. But yeah, my intention here was like around 1500 to 2K character. And you can see here blasting through this 120, no problem. So I think this is somewhere like on the same level as like Rathma Necromancer when it comes to farming, potentially better. And Rathma is a really strong farming build. I would probably rank it somewhere in like top 5 or so, or somewhere around that. So Rathma usually has like these like rather slow paced 3-minute runs, but on a very high tier. And this build feels kind of like that. You do have to teleport in there, but it doesn't reset instantly. You can see it on the bar when I use it. So it does take sometimes like a few seconds, depending on how many enemies are around, how often you proc meteors. It can be really fast, or it can be just, a little longer. The main thing that reduces the overall like possible pace with this build is the smoldering core yet again. Even with Tal Rasha dropping all these automatic meteors, it does take like 2, 3, 4 seconds or so to stack up the smoldering core to its maximum to actually blast those elites. So that's the main issue that the build has. So if you want to go like really fast, let's say like sub 2-minute runs, you kind of have to drop smoldering core and get something else, but there's not that many good options. If you're curious about the state of the leaderboards, so Rob is pushing this right now, and I've been like hanging out with him on voice and watching him and stuff. And he's still like doing 147s right now, actually. So there's very good potential to push high. It is at 8K, obviously, so it's like pretty high end. But the setup is also still fairly fresh, so there's like optimizations in terms of like play style, and potentially even like some stuff can be adjusted here. So I have some ideas of how to actually improve the setup, but I need to try this myself. And yeah, I think we might even end up with a stronger build. So yeah, it's definitely looking good, and especially the solo farming potential is good. I imagine this could even be some kind of like 4-man speed meta with Tal Rasha now. You are like mobile enough with those teleport resets, and the fact that you can combine 2 Tal Rasha wizards to stack up the smoldering core essentially instantly is gonna be pretty cool. So I hope we can get like a 4-man team together and try this out as well. But I believe this could be quite competitive with something like the Impale runs that we've already highlighted in the meta post for season 27. So this new Tal Rasha stuff with the teleport especially just makes it way better. Lastly, here is some of this LOD Bazooka Wizard in groups. So we did clear 150 effectively. So this was 3 men. We just went in there without an RGK. But you can see that we were able to progress. And as I mentioned, like with the smoldering core not stacking from the Member of Twilight Meteor Shower rune, yeah, this makes it a bit harder to execute. I'm not sure if this is a bug or if this is intended to just be like 1 stack per cast instead of 1 stack per impact. In my opinion, it should be just 1 stack per impact so that you can actually just do like 2 free casts and then you have your full smoldering core stacks. But doing this 10 casts rotation, while it is doable with the time you have between your Archon rotations, the problem is that you kill too many small targets and you lose out on air damage and on the Arcane Attunement with 4 stacks for the big nuke in the end when you go into Archon to drop this 1 meteor. So another problem that this setup also has that we identified is that there's quite a lot of RNG with where the meteors are falling. So you can see them like falling like a bit like spread out. It's just like the meteor shower. But the spread is actually sometimes rather large. So sometimes you get like 2 meteors in the middle, sometimes you get like 4 meteors in the middle, sometimes you get 6. So it's quite RNG basically, and you can't really rely on it. But the biggest issue really is this smoldering core stacking. So I believe that when we try it out with a Firebird Rift Guardian Killer that stacks out the smoldering core for the Meteor Wizard, then this could actually work out really well. So I'm quite excited to see that as well. So this is the update I have for you now from like the last 5 hours of blasting the new patch. So quite some exciting stuff ahead for the Wizards. I really love the new Tal Rasha now, so I'm really pumped to play this in the season. And potentially there might be a chance that we even start with this as a team. So we'll see. But I'll keep you guys updated about what we find out with the bazooka and how that works with what I just described. And let's see where this will go. I believe that Meteor is still gonna be a very, very good trash killer, so 150 viable, but it might actually end up being a bit behind in groups compared to like Nova or Hoda. But let's see. So I'll leave you with this. Hope you enjoyed this little video, and I'll see you guys next time.